नमस्ते बिटिया, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया। I am Dr. Bharat Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Pathology, Faculty of Homeopathic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. Today's topic is heart failure types. Now, left-sided and right-sided heart failure. Through heart as an organ eventually fails as a whole, but functionally, the left and the right heart act as, act as independent units. Left-sided heart failure occurs due to systemic hypertension, mitral or aortic valve disease, stenosis, ischemic heart disease, myocardial disease, that is cardiomyopathies and myocarditis, and restrictive pericarditis. The clinical manifestation of left-sided heart failure results from decreased left ventricular output, and hence there is accumulation of fluid upstream in the lungs. Accordingly, the major pathologic changes are as under. First is pulmonary congestion and edema cause dyspnea and orthopnea. Second is decreased left ventricular output causing hypoperfusion and diminished oxygenation of tissue. Examples are in co- in kidneys causing ischemic acute tubular necrosis, in brain causing hypoxic encephalopathy, and in skeletal muscles causing muscular weakness and fatigue. Now, right-sided heart failure. Right-sided heart failure occur due to as a consequence of left ventricular failure, core pulmonale, in which right heart failure occurs due to intrinsic lung diseases, pulmonary or tricuspid valvular diseases, pulmonary hypertension secondary to pulmonary thromboembolism, myocardial diseases affecting right-sided, and congenital heart disease with left to right shunt. Whatever be the underlying cause, the clinical manifestation of right-sided heart failure are upstream of the right heart, such as systemic due to cave blood and portal venous congestion and reduced cardiac output. According the pathological changes are as under. Systemic venous congestion in different tissues and organs. Examples are subcutaneous edema on dependent part, pa- passive congestion of the liver, spleen, kidney, ascites, hydrothorax, congestion of left leg veins and neck veins. Reduced cardiac output resulting in circulatory stagnation causing anoxia, cyanosis, and coldness of extremities. Backward and forward heart failure. Backward heart failure. According to this concept, either of the ventricles fail to eject blood normally, resulting in rise of end diastolic volume in the ventricle and increase in volume and pressure in the atrium, which is transmitted backward, producing elevated pressure in the veins. Now, forward heart failure. According to this hypothesis, clinical manifestations result directly from failure of the heart to pump blood, causing diminished flow of blood to the tissue, especially diminished renal perfusion and activation of renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. Compensatory mechanism, cardiac hypertrophy and dilatation. In order to maintain normal cardiac output, several compensatory mechanisms play a role as under. Compensatory enlargement in the form of cardiac hypertrophy, cardiac dilatation, or both. Tachycardia due to activation of neurohumoral system. Example is release of norepinephrine and atrial natriuretic peptide activation of renin-angiotensin aldosterone mechanism. Now, cardiac hypertrophy. Hypertrophy of the heart is defined as an increase in size and weight of the myocardium. It generally results from increased pressure load, while increased volume load, that is valvular incompetence, result in hypertrophy with dilatation of the affected chamber due to regurgitation of the blood through incompetent valves. Causes of ventricular hypertrophy. Left ventricular hypertrophy. First is systemic hypertension, aortic stenosis and insufficiency, mitral insufficiency, coarctation of the aorta, occlusive coronary artery diseases, congenital anomalies like septal defects and patent ductus arteriosus, conditions with increased cardiac output, that is thyrotoxicosis, anemia, or arteriovenous fistula. Right ventricular hypertrophy causes pulmonary stenosis and insufficiency, tricuspid insufficiency, mitral stenosis or insufficiency, chronic lung diseases, that is chronic emphysema, bronchiectasis, pneumoconiosis, pulmonary vascular diseases, etc. And left ventricular hypertrophy and failure of the left ventricle. Now, cardiac dilatation. Quite often, hypertrophy of the heart is accompanied by cardiac dilatation. Stress leading to accumulation of excessive volume of the blood in a chamber of the heart causes increase in length of myocardial fibers, and hence cardiac dilatation as a compensatory mechanism occurs. Causes: valvular insufficiency, that is mitral and or aortic insufficiency in left ventricular dilatation, tricuspid and or pulmonary insufficiency in right ventricular dilatation. Left to right shunt examples are ventricular septal defects, conditions with high cardiac output, that is thyrotoxicosis, atriovenous shunts, or myocardial diseases, that is cardiomyopathies, myocarditis, or systemic hypertension. Morphologic features, that is hypertrophy of the myocardium without dilatation, is referred to as concentric, and when associated with dilatation is called eccentric. The weight of the heart is increased above normal, often over 500 grams. However, excessive epicardial fat is not indicative of true hypertrophy. Gross appearance: thickness of the left ventricular wall, excluding tuberculi corneae and papillary muscles, above 15 millimeter is indicative of significant hypertrophy. In concentric hypertrophy, the lumen of the heart chamber is smaller than usual, while in eccentric hypertrophy, the lumen is dilated. Microscopic examination reveals there is an increase in size of individual muscle fibers. There may be multiple minute foci of degenerative changes and necrosis in the hypertrophied myocardium. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you all enjoy this session. If you have any comments, if you have any query, please mention it in comment box. Thank you.